More and more online classes are becoming a very common part of college life. And it can be very tough to maintain and increase motivation and focus when you're in online lectures or doing online work and not have that in-person kind of feedback and experience. So it can be tough for new college students or even upperclassmen um, adjusting to this online lifestyle. Luckily, there are ways to increase motivation and find yourself focusing more and engaging more with the material you're receiving online. The first thing I want to talk about is your study environment. Because you are going to be participating and engaging with the information all away from a classroom, it is so important to make sure that your study environment is optimized to maximize focus and reversely to minimize those distractions. It's so important to be aware to self reflect on exactly what your surroundings are when you're studying and what potentially could cause you to lose focus or engage in mind wandering. Another aspect that we can look at is how exactly you're taking your notes. It's very common for both in person and online classes for the information to be received very passively through lecture notes or other kind of distribution methods. But ultimately, you're receiving that information in a very passive way. And we want to find ways to make those study strategies active, make that note taking active. So how do we do that? We take the information given to us and we elaborate on it, we paraphrase it. Ultimately, we want to take the information and put it in our own words, give ourselves ownership over the material. Another way of actively participating in a lecture would be in your notes, um, creating a list of a bunch of questions. Maybe something doesn't make sense, or maybe you want to make sure that you know something, make sure you know a topic. Asking questions to yourself and self testing, but also having a list of the stuff that you know and the stuff that you don't know is so important for checking exactly where you are in that lecture, in that study session. And it can be really, really beneficial for increasing that motivation in what you are discussing in that moment. Ultimately, a really helpful and easy question you could be asking yourself at any point of the day is, if I had to teach this material to somebody, how would I go about that? Could I do that right now? That kind of self assessment and formulation of questions in the form of a test is, as we'll see, very important for putting ourselves in the mind space of an active study or putting ourselves in the focused mindset. On top of note taking, there are a lot of ways that you can cue your brain into getting into a focused mindset. You can take 5 minutes before a lecture and quickly skim over the material you're going to be covering. It ultimately is creating a framework in your mind of where exactly you're going in those 50 or an hour plus long lectures. We're getting over that big hump of all this new information is being bombarded over you and you have no idea what's coming next. By taking those 5 minutes to skim and cue your brain with the information in that given lecture, you are giving yourself more leeway to understand exactly where we're going in that amount of time. You can do this after the lecture as well in the form of small self reflection exercises, again, to see what you retained and maybe what you didn't. And come up with a few questions that you can take to the professor after class or during office hours. Switching up your study environment can be a great opportunity to take in your surroundings, take in new surroundings. And that kind of exposure to novelty, exposure to different stimuli really, really helps increase motivation and decrease that mind wandering. And finally, if your tests are online, if your exams are online, it can feel really nerve-wracking to be taking that at your desk. And again, having maybe those potential distractors, having your phone nearby, it can be overwhelming for sure. But there are a lot of quick, easy, and seamless meditation exercises that you can do that take anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. Just being aware of your surroundings, grounding yourself, being aware of your breathing, very quick kind of methods that you can do to get yourself into that focused mindset. So you're not burning yourself out. You're not being overcome with test anxiety. And ultimately, if you are taking a test, especially an online test, there's so much probably being thrown at you. We want to be physically relaxed, but also these meditation exercises can increase our alertedness. Again, increasing that focus, increasing that concentration by doing these small steps. Have you used any of these methods to increase your focus and concentration? If you're taking any online classes, let us know how they're going. And if you want to hear us talk about another topic that you maybe have some questions about, feel free to comment down below. And as always, subscribe, like the video, and share it around. My name's been Anthony, and thank you for watching.